Good morning, everyone. I am Dhruti from Venkateshwara College of Engineering, CSE AI Department, Bengaluru. So today I will give a small presentation on working of JavaScript. Let's move to the introduction. Introduction. JavaScript is a popular programming language which is used for creating interactive websites and web applications. It is a client-side scripting language, which means it runs on the user browser rather than the server. JavaScript allows you to add functionality and interactivity to web pages by manipulating the document object model and responding to user events. JavaScript was first known as LiveScript, but Netscape changed its name to JavaScript. So it is called as a client side scripting language and one of the most efficient, commonly used scripting languages. This term will say that it runs on the client side, which means on the client machine inside the web browsers. But one important thing to remember is that client web browser also needs to support the JavaScript, or it must be a JavaScript enabled. Nowadays, most of the modern web browsers support JavaScript and their JavaScript engines. JavaScript works by manipulating the document object model of a web page. The document object model is a tree-like structure which is going to represent HTML elements of the web page. So the JavaScript can manipulate the structure of the web page and and change the content and the behavior of the page. JavaScript can also interact with the APIs to access the external data and services, such as retrieving the information and uh, from the database or sending the mails. Additionally, JavaScript can also be used to create animations and other visual effects of a web page. We can see some of the web browser with the JavaScript engines. So for Edge, that is Chakra, Safari, they are going to use the JavaScript engine as a JavaScript core, and Firefox, it is the Spider Monkey for the JavaScript engines. So it totally depends on the web developers how they use JavaScript for that, because it can be used for several things in web development. One of the most common uses of JavaScript is to validate the data which is given by the user in the form of fields. We can see the working of the JavaScript. JavaScript. So here, to explain how JavaScript works, let's take an example of a simple web page that displays a button and changes the text when the button is clicked. First, we can see here the basic format of the HTML. A document is doc type HTML. Then comes the HTML tag with the head written, inside which we are going to write the title. So the title will be JavaScript example. We are going to close the head tag. Let's move to the body tag, which is going to have the h1 tag and the button tag. So in this HTML code, we have h1 element with the ID heading and a button element with the ID button. We will use the JavaScript to modify the text in the h1 element when the button is clicked inside the script tag. Okay, let's move to the script tag. So in the script tag, we can see that we can write a JavaScript code. So here how it works by step, we can see here. Inside, select the step one is by selecting the elements. So here we can select the elements from the DOM using their IDs. So in this case, we will select the h1 element and the button element, so which is used by get element by ID method. We are going to use the get element by ID method. So in order to select the h1 element, and then step 2 is to attach an event listener. So here we are going to perform an action. So when the button is clicked, so basically when you click the button, it is going to perform the action. So in order to do this, we will use the add event listener method, and you're going to attach a click event listener to the button. So we are going to in order to perform the action when the button is clicked, we are going to use a method that is the add event listener method, and then you're going to attach an event listener to the button. Then the step 3 is to change the text, which means inside the event listener function we can modify the text of the h1 element by using the text context property. So this is the third step. And when the web page is loaded, the JavaScript code will be executed, and it is going to select the h1 element and the button, attaches a click event listener to this button, and it is going to define the action to be performed when the button is clicked. When the button is clicked, the event listener function is triggered, and the text in the h1 element is changed to the button clicked. So this is the basic example of how JavaScript works by manipulating the DOM and responding to user events. JavaScript can do much more, including manipulating the styles, making AJAX requests, validating the form inputs, and creating complex interactivity on the web pages. So we can see this example and the output in the next slide. We can see here it has been printed click me, and when you click it is going to print an output that is button clicked. So let's look into the another example. We're going to consider another example. So as usual, we're going to take a HTML format here with the HTML tag, head tag, and a title tag, and a head closing tag. And here it is going to start with the body tag. So in the above program, we just displayed a alert message to the user by using the alert method. So that is predefined. When you click onto that, it is going to the browser, whichever the browser we are going to use, it is going to print the alert message. um, uh, we also going to use the console.log method in order to print the message, and passed as a JavaScript as a string. And in the inspect mode, we can see the JavaScript in the console, and we can see the output in the next slide. Most of the web browsers are going to support the JavaScript and have their JavaScript engines. For example, Google Chrome has its own JavaScript engine, which is called as VS. We can look the example here. So when we are going to print the alert message, so we have passed hi there, so it is going to print the alert message as hi there. So this is another example we could see here. Then let's move to the advantages of JavaScript. So we can see client-side interactivity, easy to learn, wide browser support, enhanced user experience, versatility. Client-side interactivity, which means it is primarily used as a client-side scripting language, which is going to allow to interact with the DOM web pages. Second is easy to learn because it has relatively very simple syntax and it is easy to learn, especially for the beginners. Wide browser support. So it is supported by majority of the web browsers, which is including Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer. Enhanced user experience. With JavaScript, you can improve the user experience by creating engaging and interacting elements on web pages. Versatility. JavaScript is a versatile language which can be used by both client-side as well as the server-side development. Thank you.